One tribe. Together we vibe.
Good energy, high vibration.
Great conversation is what we provide. This your boy Ballin' Boy Trey, along with the boss Pretty. This is the Good Folks
Hey.
Podcast. Today we got a special guest joining us tonight, Mr. Manifest.
Yes, sir.
Let everybody know who you is and where you from.
I am Destiny Manifest. I'm from Birmingham, Alabama. Well, I'm from the planet Earth, you know what I'm saying? But I was born and raised in Birmingham, Alabama.
Okay. So, tell us about like what you do.
No, pause. Before. I want to know, where did your name come from? The Destiny Manifest.
So let me see. I was doing not a podcast. I was doing a Facebook Live series called. At first, it was Manifest Your Desires, and we were dealing with like tools of manifestation, walking in your path, and all of that. And one day, and I was on the tail end of making like a change in my life, right? So I was on. I put the show on Spotify, and I was recording it, and we had changed it to Manifest Your Destiny. And I was talking, and I was just like, this is Destiny Manifest, and it stuck. Everybody started calling me that. So I believe that, if you read about different characters in history, when they have a life change, oftentimes they'll change their name, right? Like people that read the Bible, Paul used to be Saul.
Yeah.
Abraham used to be Abram. But when something happened and there was a life change, then they changed their name. So this is like the second time that I've changed my name. The first time was because of a major life change, a religious change. But this time was based on a spiritual change. And it was natural.
Okay. So, you said the first time it was a religion change, right? So, you can let everybody know like your religion to that change.
So presently, I don't claim any particular religion. But previously, I was a Muslim. I was the Birmingham representative of the Nation of Islam and the state minister over the state. So like responsible for the growth and development of the other mosques around the state and whatnot. And for like 2 decades, I did that. I started real young. I am 49 now. And I was sent to Montgomery, your part of the country.
Yeah.
I was sent to Montgomery to be the minister down there. I think I was like 26, maybe 25 or 26, and spent like 3 years down there. And then I was asked to come back to Birmingham, right, to be the minister here. And I stayed here as the minister for about 15, 16 years until I made a decision that I had been agonizing over for years, which was to resign. Kanye made a song one time called Power. And on the remix, he said, do you have the power to let power go? Because a lot of times people look at me and say, man, you have so much power, da-da-da-da-da. But I feel like I'm more empowered now because I am living my most authentic self. Not that I wasn't authentic then. I was authentic for that time. But as you evolve, you may start to see things and feel things and experience things differently. And so I just decided to go with it.
For a more greater power. So, what are some of the things that you done while you was in Montgomery during your time down there?
A lot of the same things that we did here. We worked on the streets dealing with violence, stopping violence. We worked a lot with like self-development. We did a lot of programs out in the community. And then, of course, we did, our own in-house inner things or whatever. But it was a lot of work in the community, which is what got the attention of the regional minister in Atlanta to ask me to come back to Birmingham.
Oh, okay. So, who are some of the people you worked with while you was in Montgomery?
That was over 20 years ago. So I remember faces, but I don't remember names. I remember, I don't want to call his name. He's a professor at Alabama State. I don't want to call his name, but we worked with him a lot, spoke on the campus a lot. There was a guy that was downtown. He was a real like hustler type, but he was ethical, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But he was a supporter. He was for the people. So, and then there was a dude, you may be too young. Do you remember Carmichael?
Carmichael? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember Carmichael.
Yeah.
Yeah. Carmichael big name down there, man. You know,
Yeah.
Carmichael had a lot going on down there, a lot of businesses.
Right.
Yeah.
Is he still incarcerated?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. He had the Carmichael Center a while back.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm familiar with Carmichael.
Okay.
Yeah. So, go ahead. You had something to say?
I was just gonna ask the question. So, roughly for you, since you have been doing what you have been doing for the time frame that you have been doing it, roughly about how old were you when you realized that you had this passion to help others or lead others, or how old were you when you realized like spiritually this is something like part of your purpose, again part of your calling? Do you remember roughly?
So, man, that's a great question. I can tell you my first memory of knowing that something was different. It had to be, let me see, you go to kindergarten around 5. This was prior to kindergarten. I was at my grandmother's house. I'm assuming I was 4 or 5, right? Probably more like 5, because I was taking the, she had a little trash that she needed taken out, right? So I would, if it was a little trash bag, she would let me take it out to the trash man would pick up in the backyard. She used to live in Bush Hill. So anyway, this particular day, she told me to take the trash out. I grabbed it, and I'm doing my usual skipping down the steps, flipping, throwing the bag and all that. And she usually would look at me from the window. So you have to go down, right? So it wasn't a long way to the alley, but I get to the end of the alley, and I had this little thing I would spin around and swing the bag and try to make it land in a certain place, right? So I did that, and then I turned around, and when I looked up in the window, like usual, she was there. But she had this look on her face, and it was like a look I had never seen with her. Like, if anybody know my grandmother, she passed a few years ago, but anybody know her know that it's not many people that really ever seen her afraid. You know, she wasn't like a scared
She's a brave
person.
woman.
Man, listen. Yeah. So she was very religious. I used to joke and say she was Jesus' best friend, but she was looking with a look of terror, and so. I'm still walking up and running up to the thing or whatever. But I noticed at a certain point, she just got out the window and just left. So I ran up the steps, and I'm thinking that she's going to tell me what it is or whatever. I go in the house. She's not in the kitchen. So I'm looking, and she's in her room with the door closed. Now, being observant, the only time she's in the room with her door closed is when she's on the phone, probably with her mama, and she don't want nobody to hear. She's probably talking, about, somebody.
Right.
I did what I saw my aunt who lived with her. I saw her do it. Whenever my grandma's door closed, she figured she might be talking about me. So she would go to the kitchen, and I'm watching this. She would go to the kitchen, and there was a phone on the wall. Y'all too young to know about the phones on the wall.
I remember that. You can listen in on the conversation.
Okay,
see what's going on.
Okay, cool. All right. So I get a chair. I scoot it up to the wall. I climb on the chair. And I eased, just like I saw my aunt do, I eased the little thing off, and I'm listening. Sure enough, she talking to her mother, my great-grandmother. And she was explaining to her, well, when I got on the phone, I remember her saying, and I saw it was clear as day. And my great-grandmother said, and you said it was a light? And what she saw was, she said it was and my grandmama, she ain't the type to like make up stuff. She was like real down to earth. She said that as she was watching me do the trash thing, and there was a light like around me, like a bubble almost.
Yeah.
Right. So, my great grandmother said, "Well, you always been peculiar boy." Now, back then that meant something else, but
Right.
but she didn't mean it like that.
Right.
She meant, she was, I was always observant.
Right.
Quiet. So anyway, I listened to the rest, and then I put the thing on, and I went back to playing thing, none of it. It wasn't until years later that she mentioned it again. Then I forgot again, and then I was like 42 when I remembered it again. And that's when it kind of activated something else in me.
Okay.
Now, with that being said, the reason I started with that story, well, number one, because you asked, but number two, that's something that we all can relate to, because you may not have that story, but you got some story.
Oh, yeah.
Of some lady came to you in the store and told you about yourself. Somebody, a grandmama or a mama, somebody told you something about your future or whatever. It's just that we hear stuff and we brush it off. But God is always talking to you, but God talks to you through people. He talked to you through nature, talk to you through animals, talk to you through the wind.
Yeah.
But are you going to be still enough and obedient enough to sit down and listen?
Sure.
That's what it is.
So what was it during that moment where you say, you know, you forgot about it, but then you remembered it again, and you kind of tapped into it then? Mm-hmm. But what was it that triggered you to just go and tap into it and just see what it is?
I've had a lot of something clicked in me a few years back when I remembered it again. Something had happened, and I realized that I've had a lot of I ain't gonna say a lot, but maybe more than the usual person. A lot of like close calls with a lot of stuff. Life, death, like incarceration, a lot of stuff. But I've always felt this like sense of protection, right? Not that I did anything to like deserve it, or not that any of us do anything to deserve it. If you're still here, you got that bubble of protection around you too.
Oh yeah.
Because until we do our assignment, all of us got an assignment, whether you know it or not. Until we finish that assignment, then that bubble of protection remains around you, unless you do what we all do, but you keep doing it. We all run. Right. When you keep running, then spirit, just find somebody else to do it. Right. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing personal. Ain't nothing bad. I don't look at death as bad. Yeah. I don't look at death as the opposite of life. I feel like life is a continuum, so that's just another part of life
that we all have to experience.
Exactly. You have to experience it.
I get you.
I kind of feel like too, part of your answer to your question is he had to experience and go through what he went through to understand his power too, because it's a part of life. Like, we all go through stuff, we all gonna get off course, but him forgetting is a part of human nature. It's part of being sinful. It's a part of disbalance. But him remembering was God letting him know, like, you bigger than what you're doing. You're bigger than what you're going through. You're bigger than what you experience. Like, I have this purpose and this calling for you. So I feel like that's why God kept reminding him every time he forgot, because he had to let him know.
And it came in like pivotal points in life. I'm on like my third major life change, right? And I feel like this one is special. I feel like this one is pivotal. And, one of the reasons that I'm here, because my daughter introduced me to you. And when she called me and she was telling me about the podcast, she didn't say nothing about going on at first. She was just telling me, just an interesting story, because she know I ain't with it. I spent 20 years of my whole adult life on shows, in front of cameras, on the news, fighting with the police. Like, I ain't with it. I'm tired. You know what I'm saying? So she instantly started selling it. No, you gonna like him. And he got a good show. You take a look at the show. I think it'd be good. And then she hit me with the thing that she know is like close to my heart. I feel like, I'll be 50 next year. You know what I'm saying? I feel like anybody that is of a certain age, like whatever age you are, there's some people behind you that need the wisdom that you have at your age. Whatever age the engineer is, there's some people behind you, whatever age you are. Right. There's some young men, some women, young women, like they need what you have at this point. I feel like it's a waste. Like when a person dies, it's like a library dying, if you didn't pass it on.
Right,
gotcha.
Right.
So she was like, it'd be a good opportunity for you to, you pass on and, da, 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 da. So, yeah, that's why I'm here. So I feel like this time, though, is very pivotal, this change, you know what I'm saying? And will you have it all figured out at 50? No, I can tell you that right now. I don't have it figured out, but I can share the things that I've learned and experienced up until this point.
Absolutely. Right. Absolutely. And that's why we got you here, because, we wanna know, and our fans and our peers that's watching wanna know, because it's a learning experience for us, because we still learning and growing through life as well. Like we haven't made it to your age. You know what I'm saying? Like we gonna get there, by the grace of God, if He's willing, you know what I'm saying? We all see that. But just knowing, like, everybody have a testimony, but we all learn from different moments of others' life, and it helps us navigate into a more a better direction than what we may be going. And then, you know, God intervened, you know, and he kind of confirmed.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, man, we glad to have you. You know what I mean?
Glad to be here.
Most definitely.
We glad to have you.
Because I'm a very spiritual, you know, person. And you never know, like you said, the impact that you can have on a person's life and what a person going through and who may need what you've been through to help them push and be closer. Because the goal is everybody have a calling, but the goal is for everybody to get spiritually connected like you and people higher than you and people higher than them, to have that relationship, that rapport with whoever it is that they believe in, whoever your God is.
I'm not here to tell you who to believe in, what to do, what not to do. That ain't none of my business.
Right.
I am only here to help everybody get a connection with themselves while I'm trying to help myself get a connection with myself. When we talk about like leadership, I don't even consider myself, I wouldn't say I'm a leader. I wouldn't say I'm a teacher. I used to, but I'm not here to teach anything. I'm here to share, and I'm here to learn. Like when we first met, I said, because you said it's going to be a learning spirit, I said, no, I'm going to be learning too, right? Yeah. But I'm not, I wouldn't say that I am qualified to, hey, I'm teaching, you know what I'm saying, or preaching or nothing like that, but I can share. I can vibe, you know what I'm saying? Everything is frequency, everything is vibration.
Right.
We get so caught up in titles. We get so caught up in, I know more than you. Well, did you know this? And, well, that person knows. Man, listen, the only thing that we do know is that we don't know.
Man, you just said something then, boy. For real. Because when you think you know something, that's when you learn something you don't know.
Right.
Each time.
Right. You don't even know yourself fully. There's a situation that could happen tomorrow that'll bring something out of you that you ain't seen.
Facts.
And you learn about yourself every day.
For real.
Literally.
So a wise man told me years ago, said, son, old age is only inflexibility. As long as you stay flexible, you remain young. And so I have tried to live by that. And you can take that on every level. That's physically. That's life. That's mentally, emotionally. Can you adjust to what's going on? Are you stuck? You know, people say, well, I'm stuck in my way. Man, the only thing stuck in its way is that which is dead. Yep. It's stuck. It ain't moving no more. But as long as you here, as long as you're still breathing, it's time to evolve and let the old go. Hold on to the new.
So who was someone that you looked up to growing up that shared a lot of life experiences with you?
Growing up, I didn't have any. I didn't have any. I didn't have a lot of male role models, male interaction. My mom and dad got divorced when I was 6, and slowly my relationship with him began to dissolve for a period of time until I was grown, until after I was married. And then we kind of rekindled the relationship. But I didn't have a lot of like male interaction. That's why I was saying, I think it was you I was telling that one day, a few years ago, I realized I was talking to somebody. I was talking to a young man, and it hit me right then. I said, damn, I have become the thing I was looking for.
Oh, yeah.
When I was, you know what I'm saying, when I was younger.
Yeah, we had that conversation.
Yeah. So, I didn't have a lot. It was me and God, for real.
So how did you become a part of Islam?
Man, so when I was in I got these long stories. I'm gonna shorten it up though. When I was in maybe the 6th grade, I had a teacher named Miss Mitchell, and she made us do a 25-person report over the Christmas holiday. We got to work over the Christmas holiday. But she wanted a Black History report on 25 Black leaders, and I remember I was doing it, and me and my mom was helping me. And we were picking out the people that we were going to report on. And we got to this one particular picture. I didn't know who it was. It looked strange, but she knew. She's older than me. And she said, I remember that man. His name was Elijah Muhammad. Yeah. She said, I remember, he didn't talk much, but I used to see him on the news and he talked funny. I remember that man, but it was something always about him. And so that was the first thing. I just listened. I didn't say nothing, moved on. But my first summer job with the city of Birmingham was Wiggins Park. I loved it. The next year I went back And they said they ain't have no more jobs. They said, but we got one next door to Wiggins Park at the library. Library, gee, oh.
This ain't gonna be it.
That's so boring.
But I need the job, so I'm taking the job. I'm go to the library. Best up until that time, best job I ever had. You know what I'm saying? Like I learned so much because there was nothing left to do but read.
Yeah.
Fix books, organize it, read. You know what I'm saying? So I remember reading a book on Malcolm X. Around that time, the movie came out. And me and my homeboy Kaboo, we skipped school and went to go see the movie. And there was a bookstore in Western Hills Mall before you could get killed in there. It was allegedly. I take that back. I don't want Western Hills to get mad. But back when it was a real, Western Hills Mall, there was a bookstore when you first walk in called Mahogany. I forgot the owner's name. But anyway, he used to sell like black books. And my friends, at a certain point, they used to hate to go to the mall with me. Man, this nigga, he finna go to the bookstore. We gotta wait on him. But I had worked at the library. Now I'm addicted. That's why I wear glasses now. I was reading in the dark, like after I'm supposed to be going to bed or whatever. Now I'm sneaking it, I just had a thirst. So it made my eyes bad. But anyway, getting back to the point. I used to read the books in the Mahogany or whatever, but one day I was talking to my mom, and somebody had said something to her, and she was like, yeah, I know where them people meet at. We may go by there and visit. So we just used to go and visit when I was a teenager, and things just progressed from there. And when I came back, because I went out of town to Job Corps, but when I came back, things just started going crazy. And I just felt like I needed a change to kind of, sometimes you need something to hold you in the road. Sometimes you need something to like enact the discipline that we have, but we don't know how to use it. Right. So that's how I ended up joining.
So describe as your experience. Like you was already seeking the knowledge through the library and reading all those books. Uh-huh. But like, when you actually became a member, like, what were some of the things that you learned during them times that you was a part of Islam, and how it affected you as a man to become who you are today? Mm-hmm. Well, not become, but to kind of build the man that you is today.
The first thing I would say that I learned is like civilization. We have a tendency to be a little savage coming up in the hood, and I wasn't super savage, but I was savage enough. Yeah. And so when I say civilization, I mean things like respect. You know what I'm saying? Like it was a big thing, like respect and protect the black woman. So I learned that. Now I can't say, a lot of people say when they came to the nation, they learned things like opening doors for women and all that, because that's a big thing, in the nation. But I can't really say that. I already had that. My mom taught me that when I was young, when I was as far back as I can remember. We walking down the street, she would put me on the side of the street and say, this is the side that man's supposed to walk on. You know what I'm saying? Or that you didn't see that woman right there? Get that door for her. You know what I'm saying? So I already had that. So a lot of things I came with, which probably helped me to kind of catapult. You know what I'm saying? Now, when I first came, I was just like anybody else. I didn't really say too much to anybody. I was pretty much everybody's favorite brother until I got the position. I said I was pretty much everybody's favorite brother.
So the position,
until I got that position.
Yeah. What position was that?
The position was the minister. Minister of the mosque. That's the top position. Now, let me say it like this, because I'm not dissing nobody, but I am saying that wherever you are, I don't care if it's a fraternity, if it's at work, if it's at school, if you get a position that's sought after, or if you get a position that gives you some supposed power or prestige or people looking at you, you're always going to have people that either say, I could do it better, or say, why he there? Or say, I just don't like him. Or I just want to see him, I want to see him fail. But then you have the people to say, I want to see him do good. You know what I'm saying? So, but it does cause envy and jealousy, and that's regardless to where you go. So whatever you're doing, if you elevate, You already know. You should know. If you don't know, I'm telling you now. It's just a part of the game. That if you elevate, you naturally develop people that are going to look at you sideways. So if I'm not even going to go into some of the rumors that I heard about me that I was like, God damn, where did they get that from?
Yeah,
That's a good one now.
it get crazy, man. It get crazy.
Yeah. So, but yeah, what was the question? I'm sorry. I'm getting old. Short-term memory.
What I had asked you was the experience, like the things you learned from it.
So I was saying civilization. I learned unity. I learned uniformity. I learned. I would say projection. It brought out something that was already there. It was just lying dormant. You know what I'm saying? Like they say, we all have a code inside of us. It's just laying dormant. When you come into contact with somebody who may have it or something, that activates it, it was already there. It was just lying dormant, right? So I would say that joining the nation brought something out of me that was there, but it was just lying dormant.
Okay.
What would you say would be probably one of the most challenging parts about that journey or that transition?
I would say the time that you dedicate. I would say, and time on all levels. That's time from doing things that maybe you would have done. That's time away from maybe your family. That's time away from maybe, for me, it could have been like career development. It could have been like, it's many different things, but I would say the biggest thing is the time.
So more like isolation.
No, it wasn't isolation at all. That's one thing I could say. Like a lot of belief systems or whatever try to like take you away from family and people outside or whatever. It's not like that at all. So not necessarily isolation, but more so the time that you dedicate to like community work, the time that you dedicate to the meetings, meetings in the building and, and all of that. Gotcha. You spend so much because it's a meeting doggone there every day of the week. And then, you got community work and all that. And it's not like somebody's forcing you to do it, but out of your sense of like mission and like you love your people and all that, sometimes you may go overboard,
right?
Trying to do something that you think is the best thing to do. But when you look back on it, maybe, like you said, time management would have served you better.
Gotcha. Okay.
So the unity, right? Like, what was that like? Like being like the unity of like the brotherhood, because that's something that we kind of missing in today's time with the black community is the unity. So kind of explain like what that was like being a part of a real unity and some of the things that you understood from it. We all say like, it take a unity to do these things, but we don't really understand the purpose to serve that with that unity. So could you just kind of like break down a little bit like of what it was like for you being a part of that unity, actually getting that experience of being in a unity and, developing purpose of it?
Well, I'll break it down real simple. Like there's no other place that I know of that you would find like that type of brotherhood. I will say that, and the unity produces you an ability to do things that you thought you couldn't do. So if you take, there's an old African proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go further, go together.
That's deep.
And that's what I experienced because it's not a lot of like individual, people used to say rugged individualism. Like everything is almost a hive mentality. Like we have the same goal, we got the same purpose. So it cuts down on a lot of like frivolous type things that maybe we would talk about or argue about in the hood, you know what I'm saying? Or, in this place or that place. And of course you have your drawbacks and all that, but I will say that it taught me a lot about what can be done if you are united with your brother and with your sister, with your family.
Okay. Yeah. Because like unity is a big thing, man, because like we lack that a lot. You know, you got a lot of talented people, a lot of skillful people, a lot of knowledgeable people, but it's still challenging to develop a unity to combine all that to really share a lot of information.
Right.
Like you say, it's not really about the leadership or the teaching. It's just like what you can share.
And it's not about the numbers either. You got to start with what you got. If it's one person, start with that. Or you might be the one person. If it's just, I'm saying, in whatever process that you're about to jump into, if you don't have no help, or if you just got one person to help, or two people, whatever, or if it's only you, then you're the team that you need. You know what I'm saying? And you keep going. You keep pushing whatever it is that you're pushing, and you're going to create like a centrifugal force, right? It's going to attract everything to you that's supposed to be there. Now, it's going to attract some things to you that's not supposed to be there, and that's cool too. Because like I told you before, if you look at a rocket take off in space, it has something called a rocket booster.
Yeah.
The rocket booster is on fire, but it don't make it to space with the rocket. If you see it, if you watch it on video, it falls back down onto the earth because it's not meant to make it. But it's meant to be a boost to get you there. So that's like some people in our lives.
Yeah.
Some people, everybody ain't gonna make it.
Nah,
everybody
for sure.
can't go.
For sure.
But they are meant to be there for that particular time, and you're meant to be there for them for that particular time. And see, one thing we gotta stop doing is taking everything personal. Every breakup ain't gotta be beef.
Say that one more time.
Every time you leave a place or organization or a house or fraternity or school or religion, it ain't got to be beef. Right. It could just be we have grown apart from each other. You go your way, I go my way. We ain't got to beef though.
No love lost.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. So like, okay, you did ministering for, you say like 2 decades?
Yeah, 2+ years, 20+ years.
Yep.
Okay, so what was that like when you first got that that position, like going into that, like?
So it happened kind of quick. Like I said, I didn't say a lot to people, only people that I knew or that I was close to, and I still wouldn't say a lot then. But I went on there was something politically happening in the city with a particular person who used to be in Congress. And our brother Jamil, he was the national spokesman of the nation at the time. He was sent here to go around the South to get help to come here to campaign for this particular person. All right.
You said who?
His name is Jamil.
Jamil.
Mm-hmm. So I volunteered to drive him. All right. So at this time, I think I was just starting to sell real estate, so I had time. And he was like, "Okay, well, talk to your wife first." And I talked to her, and she was like, "Good idea." You know, we young at the time, and just gung ho. So we ended up doing a tour, and we did like 12 cities in 11 days. But over that time of being with him, I learned so much. I picked up a lot, but I didn't know it. When I got back to Birmingham after those couple of weeks, like week and a half, when I got back, everybody was like, "Man, you look different. You seem like you're different. You ain't even standing the same." I ain't know what they were talking about. And one day, now, mind you, I had never spoken like from the podium to people. But this person who I'm talking about, we were in Atlanta, and this is the city he chose. And I didn't like Atlanta at the time, the city of Atlanta. And this is the city that he chose. You're like, "Hey, Tremont, I'll be up there soon. Just go up there and, open up, and I'll be up there soon." I'm like, I ain't never did this, right? It's fine. Just, it's fine. Just pick somebody to look at, and you got it. You know what to talk about. No, I don't. I don't. I really don't. Yeah, I'll be up there soon. I'm okay. Look, just be a couple of minutes. Tell them why we're here, Bring me up. All right, cool. I go up there. I get through the beginning or whatever. I'm stumbling. I see this dude walk out the room.
Oh man, he just left you there.
So now I'm up there. Now we just looking at each other. So I just started. I'm sorry, I gotta stop doing it. I just started talking, and but from there, when I got back to Birmingham, I forgot who asked. Somebody asked me to go up. No, somebody asked me to do a lecture. It's called a lecture, like a sermon. And I had never done it before, but they didn't know this. They were just getting back from out of town. And I was like, okay. And a sister gave me a little outline. I came up with I just used the outline and used the subject that she get, the example subject on the outline. But when I went up there and spoke, the people were like, man, they were like refreshed. And I remember I came down and there was this old brother. He was maybe in his 70s at the time. He passed on now. And I looked at, he was crying. And I said, Brother Nate, what's going on with you? Been down? And he said, he looked up at me. He said, I'm crying because of what I heard today. He said, we've been waiting for brothers like you for a long time. And I was like, man, I didn't know what he was talking about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I thought I messed up there. But everybody was like, oh, it was so good. We want him again. We want him again. And we want him again. And pretty soon, an opening came up in Montgomery, and they asked me if I wanted to, they said, can you go down there a couple of weeks and teach? I'm like, yeah, cool. And a couple of weeks turned into like 3 years.
Wow.
Got to cry before you walk. But it's already made for you.
Right.
Yeah.
But so like that experience when you just getting thrown out there, really developing something much bigger from that point forward.
Right. Like getting thrown in the swimming pool, sink or swim.
Yeah. But you learn how to swim.
Man, look, I ain't finna drown.
Yeah.
Hey, you put me anywhere, I ain't gonna drown. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Put me in a city, you put me in a situation, any condition, I believe I'm gonna make it out.
For sure. So, did you ever get a chance to meet or talk to the brother Farrakhan?
Definitely. I was telling somebody one time, this was years ago. I said, I was sitting here. Somebody asked me how many times that I had sat or talked with the minister, and I told them I was sitting there trying to count, and I said I lost count at like 27. And they were like, "What, for real?" And I said, "Yeah, man. Over the years, it's really have went pretty fast." I've got like messages. I saved the messages on my phone from, when he called or whatever. But I'll end that question like this. It's like in the 90s, in the 80s and 90s, that was like the biggest figure that young black men had, right? That was the person that was speaking up for us. He's on the news every week. He ain't like selling out. He ain't bought. You know what I'm saying? He's speaking strong. He's swagged out. And for me to watch that, and I would say like idolize that person as a teenager, and then have the opportunity one day to sit where he's sitting right there and I'm sitting right here, and I tell him, we used to listen to you on the way to school, and my friends used to get mad at me and but for me to be sitting here and tell you my experience back then, and I was good. I was good then, because there's not many people that watch like a quote unquote hero as a teenager and then get a chance to, be around him, to get help from him, to help him. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, and to get to know him personally, and he meet your family and all that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Right. So yeah, the answer is yes. I met him my whole lifetime. So
y'all built a pretty good relationship.
Definitely.
What are some of the things that you learned from him?
The biggest thing I learned one time. He was the most successful Nation of Islam minister, like in history, even more so than Malcolm. When you have like the mosque here is Mosque 69. If if they opened another one on the east side, it would be 69B. The next one would be 69C. It's not many people that have A, B's, and C's, but when he was the minister in New York, he had all the way up to T. So this would lead just moving, you know what I'm saying? You speaking to like 70,000 people just as a regular minister. So I asked him one day, how do you, with doing accomplishing so many things, how do you stay motivated? And he said, I never stay thinking about the thing that I just did. I'm always thinking about the next thing. And when I do something and accomplish it, then it's over. I don't even want to talk about it no more. And I'm moving on to the next thing. So that was one of the biggest things that I took from him. And the last thing I would say is, he told me one time, 75% of your time should be worked on your weaknesses. And he said, don't talk too much about your successes because they'll take care of themselves. Work on your weaknesses and teach from your mistakes. And so that's another thing I need to get to, because one thing that we are afraid of, right? And again, I'm talking to people that are either younger than me or older than me. But one thing that we all are afraid of is making mistakes. But you learn from your mistakes. And the people that you see as the greatest are the people that have made the most mistakes, but they didn't get stuck in the mistake. They took that and learned from it and then moved forward. But most of us on the planet, we are like afraid of making mistakes, and then we look at the people that's actually doing something and we ridicule them. Why? Because them doing something, let's personalize it. You doing something will show up the person that's doing nothing.
Yeah.
Now, you ain't really showing them up because don't nobody really care except that person.
Yeah.
That person think everybody's looking, she doing all this, everybody looking at me because I ain't doing nothing. So now I got to hope that you mess up publicly. You know what I'm saying? That'll cheat you.
Yeah.
Goddamn, trying to do something. I can't stand who's always trying to do something. You know what I'm saying? So you're always going to have that, but you can't be afraid of making mistakes.
Right. Mistakes
is the thing that makes you. You just can't be stuck in the mistake.
True. What's your most memorable impact that you feel like you've had so far?
The first thing that comes to mind is there was a beef that we squashed, and you know what? Hold on, let me think before I say that. My most memorable impact.
You can
the biggest impact.
Give me two, if you got two.
The biggest impact that I think that I have made is on my children. Yeah, forget all the other stuff. Forget I shared the stage with Barack Obama one time.
Okay.
I was if I was here to talk about like I was the first person to do this and the first person to do that, we'll be here all night. But what the hell would that mean? You know what I'm saying? Like I leave here with my chest puffed up. Y'all might leave here like, man, he did something. But the real thing that matters is what did you do for the people that know you?
Yeah.
What did you do for the people that care about you?
Right.
Right. Charity begins at home and then stretches out abroad. So one of the things that I am most proud about that period in my life is that even though I spent a lot of time, even though I was blessed to make a lot of impact on a lot of people, it didn't stop me from making an impact on my children. And they say PKs, preachers' children, end up being the worst because dad or if mom is a preacher, like they spending so much time with the flock. And then you searching for attention, but I'm glad that I ain't really experienced that.
Yeah,
that's definitely a blessing. Definitely a blessing.
Well, I gotta ask this though. You shared the stage with Barack Obama.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the Selma Jubilee happens every year. It is the commemoration of Bloody Sunday. And people from all around the world come. They march over the Edmund Pettus Bridge, and it's like packed, right? So it's tens of thousands of people there every year, right? And so the opening ceremony is one of the biggest things. It's many stages, but everybody have to come to that stage. Yeah. And that particular year, I was honored. I was the first, non-Christian clergy to open the Jubilee up in prayer.
What year was this?
I think 2015. if I'm not mistaken. Somewhere around there. But there's a picture. It's a I'm say famous. It may be BET though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's famous.
There's this famous picture of me and my son. So you know there's usually like security and stuff like that. Man, it was so many hiccups and it was so many people and it was so much going on. I got separated from the brothers, but my son was there. And hell, who loved me more than my son? You know what I'm saying? Now, my son was only like 9 or 10, but I trained him from birth. You know what I'm saying? So the picture is me like doing the prayer, but my son I'm standing right there on guard next to me. Man. So, but that's the year, that's the event that I shared the stage with Barack.
Oh, okay. So did you get a chance to talk to him one-on-one?
To Barack? No. I did not. No, you ain't getting too close.
Yeah, he's still president. Yeah. But man, we're gonna transition a little bit, right? Okay. Going to fatherhood a little bit, because you said the biggest impact was your kids. I think I'm saying that right.
Biggest impact was
the biggest impact,
memorable impact.
The most memorable impact was your kids. So. Tell me, like, what was that like, being able to, as you going through, different trials of life and then you come into fatherhood with just teaching them everything that you learned, but also bringing them up to be strong men and women and understanding everything that you've been through. Like, how was that to be able to share with them as they grow?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and let me say this too. I have to give credit to my former wife because that's their mother, and I'd be stupid to sit up here like, oh yeah, I do all this, boy, and they turned out like that. No, you know what I'm saying, 50.
Yeah, gotta get her flowers.
Probably more so because she's the primary caregiver. But what I tried to do was be real. What I tried to do was one thing that I hate seeing is like when older people look down on younger people and then treat them like you didn't have a past.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah. Treat them like you didn't wear a miniskirt. Right. Treat them like you didn't smoke blunts.
Right.
It might have been joints back then, but
it's still weed.
You know what I'm saying? Still weed.
Same thing.
So, and we try to make children be 40 and 50 when they only 15, when they only 20, when they only 30. You know what I'm saying? Let them grow and develop. They can take lessons and examples from you, but they're not going to follow in your footsteps, and they're not going to do everything that you tell them to do.
Thanks.
One of the things that parents make a mistake on, in my opinion, is there's something I call the IGS. That's the internal guidance system, right? So you have a GPS, which is the global positioning system. The GPS on all our phones, you're trying to find somewhere, and if you make a wrong turn, it'll tell you. It don't tell you messed up. It don't tell you, man, stop the trip.
It just reroute you.
Yeah. Recalculating. That's it. But we all have an internal guidance system. So you're going to make it to the destination one way or the other. Your route may be a little scenic. Your route may be a little bumpy. Or you may take the straight road. But wherever you are in life right now is where you're supposed to be. And like you're just going to continuously be recalculated until you get on that road that you're supposed to be on.
Right.
So one thing the parents mess up on, we try to tell children everything to do when that's not the job. You guide them and then allow them to make decisions. Right. Because when we make decisions for them, then they grow up as adults that's always confused. Well, I don't know what to do. I don't know. And many of us have maybe experienced that or whatever. You just don't know. Why? Because you didn't have that opportunity to make decisions when you were young, because your parents, out of love, this is all out of love. Your parents out of love is just trying to stop you from experiencing pain.
Right.
That's what the whole goal is. They want to stop you from experiencing pain because when you're in pain, it makes them hurt. But that child got to experience the pain. That child, pain is growth is pain. Ain't no such thing as growing if there ain't no pain involved.
Nah, for sure.
Any woman that's pregnant, like you're growing and there's pain involved. You know what I'm saying? Like ain't no such thing. But you don't get to a certain point, oh, there's too much pain, I don't want it no more. No, you got to go through with it. So It's just like that in the process that you, like, if you're trying to open that business, or if you're trying to stop smoking, or you're trying to lose weight, that's your process that you got to go through. And you don't abort the baby though. Like you gonna fall off the horse. It's all right. You gonna what the critics say, you gonna backslide. You know what I'm saying? It's all right, but don't just be like, oh man, the hell with it. No, get back on the horse and keep going.
Right.
So what are some of the tips you would give to someone that's not quite mentally strong to just keep going? Like what are some of the things that you would tell them to kind of motivate them and inspire them to keep moving forward, even though there's bumps and stumbles and obstacles that you're going to face? Like what were some of the things you would tell them to help them believe that you could go farther in life if you just keep going?
Mm-hmm. Go back to childhood. So there's a scripture, I think it's Jesus. He said, you must become as a little child to enter the kingdom or something like that. Here's the point. If you look at a baby, the baby is always the most powerful person in the room. The baby don't speak no language, but he get everything he want. Everybody caters to the baby. And if a baby came in this room, if somebody brought a baby in this room right now, that baby will run the room. We all gonna be looking and you garner all the attention and all of that. It's something about a baby, like when a baby is being either breastfed or bottle fed. But when it's breastfed, when it pulls on the breast, initially don't nothing come out. It has to, the baby have to keep pulling.
Yeah.
Now if that was us, we'll pull one time, man, ain't nothing in here, and just move on to the next thing. But the baby is consistent. The baby continues to pull and then is rewarded. You know what I'm saying? That baby got more faith than us because the baby don't know for sure it's something in there. That baby just came out. You put it on the breast. You don't know for sure it's something in there, but it keeps on, pulling until its faith is rewarded.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Same thing like when a baby is starting to walk. The baby pull up on something solid, you know what I'm saying, start wobbling, and we'll start walking, and usually the mama said, oh, shit, my baby walking, to scare the baby fall, but the baby don't stay down. Baby going. Get back up. Mm-hmm. What happened to us? Why we start something, try it, and then, we fall, and the man hell with it. Man, this ain't gonna work. Let me go move on to something else. Got to be like a baby. Got to keep going. There's something about the baby being fresh out of the womb, coming from wherever you think we came from. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But it's something about being fresh from there that the baby don't speak no language. That's why I tell people, like, some of us be big on like affirmations, and that's cool. But affirmations by itself don't work. You stand up in the mirror and, I am great. Yeah, I love myself. But you won't mean it though. Yeah. And if you don't feel it, it ain't working.
It just sound good.
It just sounds good. We just talking. Yeah. See, the universe is like it's feminine in nature. And if you tell a woman, usually, I love you. You just talking words. But if she don't feel it, what? I say I love you. I don't believe. Number one, you ain't doing nothing to prove it. You ain't no feeling in that. The universe is like that. You can say whatever words you want to say in that mirror. If you don't feel it, if that emotion ain't attached to it, and if you don't believe it, the universe don't hear you. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna keep giving you what you got.
Man, that was deep though. Like that example, like, because people don't like think like that. You know what I'm saying? Just to go back to where it all started from the beginning.
Yes, and I like that baby example too because it feeds back on the curiosity that kids have.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
We get older and we done experience so much. It's like we lose without a dream. Most people don't have curiosity for nothing.
Exactly.
You should have curiosity without the dream, which is why he used that example.
And then not only that, but just like you not knowing something, you coming in this world not knowing nothing. So the things you experience, you kind of got a little cheat code to it. You know what I'm saying? So you just think back on like, okay, when I didn't know nothing, I learned all these things, and I still kept going when I didn't know nothing. So like when I live a little bit of life,
pain.
You know what I mean?
It's the pain to stop us. You know what I'm saying? Pain, upbringing. Like I said, parents will out of love and out of fear will try to keep you away from this, keep you away from that. When sometimes you should be pushing them toward that, you know what I'm saying? So, but when we start to experience pain and failure and all of that, when we don't realize that's part of the process, then it makes us, everything in life is about shying away from pain. going toward pleasure and shying away from pain. But we don't realize that in that pain is growth. Not don't go out and hurt yourself. I ain't saying that, but I'm just saying every process involves some pain, and you gotta fight through it.
Facts. And that's what I like telling people too, because you can't know what success feel like if you never experienced failure. You can't say you know what happiness or peace feel like if you ain't never been uncomfortable or unhappy. You have to experience, like you said earlier with kids, you could guide them, but the best lesson for them is experience in life. So no matter which direction you guide them in, they're still going to experience what they want to experience, just like with babies. You could tell them all day that something is hot. They don't know what hot means until they touch it for the first time.
Right.
So it's still definitely about experiencing and growth. So
Nah, for sure.
That was deep. That was deep.
In that pain, I think like, when you're going through life, I think people don't realize how much pain impacts situations.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because nothing is successful or good without pain. So when you get a little bit of pain, it impacts and it embraces a lot on us, just as humans. But some people aren't as strong enough to really like keep going. Because when some people go through pain, like tragic pain with death of loved ones, they kind of lose themselves. And then it becomes now a battle within yourself. And it's like, okay, this was an experience to help me become stronger. But some people aren't strong. And to those that aren't as strong, like what tips would you give them on helping them understand the strength that they have, but how to gain it?
So that goes back to that listening. It goes back to being still. What's the name of that? What's that Glorilla song? She said,
Glow got a couple.
Yeah, but this particular one, she said, I think she said, I'm outside again because I hate it home.
Oh, Friday night.
Okay.
I know she'll know.
Think about this. Think about that statement though. I stay outside. Why? Because I hate it home.
Yeah.
Home's supposed to be a place you love.
Yeah.
Home's supposed to be filled with love.
Peace, comfort.
So what's going on? Because she ain't alone.
Yeah.
That's why everybody loves the song. Because people agree with what she said. You feel it. So I'm saying, what's going on in our homes that we hated there? That we got to stay outside amongst people we don't know, that don't care nothing about us. We just got our outfit on. They got theirs on. Somebody probably going to get slaughtered. Like you already know that. But you hate it home though. So the point is like, what's going on? Because even more so than home, what's going on at home? This home, this the real home. This, you know what I'm saying? What's going on at home? The soul that we hated there. We always using noise. Like we had to sleep with the TV on, or we always get radio on in the car. Like it's always got to be some kind of noise. Why? To distract us from this noise in here. So it's really about being able to sit down or stand up or whatever, but be able to listen. And when you listen, you gotta know what you're listening for. You know what I'm saying? You ain't listening for necessarily words. You scanning your body, you feeling. Because a lot of times the way that you're supposed to be guided you're not gonna hear no voice go left. No, you feel it.
Yeah, you're right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's something pointing you that way, or somebody may say something to you. They don't know what they're saying, but that's the sign you've been looking for. You know, for you to go forward. Or it's time now. They have no reason to say this to me, but it ain't them talking. That's the spirit talking through them to give you guidance. You know what I'm saying? So I told you, man, you can talk. You can be petting your dog, and the dog can do something, and that thought hit you, and that's $1 million idea.
Yeah. That's why I say, man, you can learn from anybody.
Literally.
Anybody. Like, I listen to anybody talk with sense. Because I know I'm going to learn something from it.
Right.
Whether it's what to become or what not to become. It's always something I'm learning from it. That's why I'm a student first, so I listen.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Even if I don't relate, I know I can understand. You know what I'm saying? So I'm always listen. Because, like, even though you hear things that you didn't supposed to hear, you still learn something from it. And I learned that as a child myself, just growing up.
Yeah.
You know, I'm hearing a lot of stuff I ain't supposed to hear, but I'm understanding the purpose of the doing and the not doing.
Right.
That helped me grow to become a better version of me.
Right.
Even if I don't know completely where it's gonna take me, I understand in the moment of what I'm hearing, what I'm seeing, and it's a teaching for me. And I think that's just a gift that God gave me, you know, that I was able to grasp at an early age and still be able to, and it grew on me. Well, now, you know, I can sit down with individuals like yourself, individuals like him, anybody that's older, and still be able to understand if I can't relate. You know what I mean? Because of the time differences that we grew up in, that child grew up in, but I still can understand it. And that's a blessing in itself, because most people don't take the time to sit down to listen to understand. Because everybody feel like, oh, if you can't relate, then you don't get it. That's not the issue. You know what I'm saying? Because I cannot relate, but I still can understand.
Still understand, right?
Facts.
You know, it's just like reading a book. You know what I mean? I can't relate to the story or the plot of the book, but I understand it.
Right.
So yeah, it was some I want to get into real quick.
Okay.
Just take a quick shift.
Okay. The other thing I want to say, don't be looking at me like a Trey, is that people also gotta be mindful of. We all know you can't do stuff by yourself. It's okay to acknowledge that you can't do things by yourself, but stop always thinking of it as a physical spectrum, because sometimes it could be on a spiritual spectrum that you just need that spiritual enlightenment, that spiritual lifting, that spiritual comfort. But again, physical is good too. God did make woman for men. He did make two of every animal. Well, he did tell Noah to take two of every animal. So it's meant for everybody to have somebody. But everybody have to understand too, it starts with loving yourself, knowing yourself, taking accountability, forgiving yourself, forgiving others, building your relationship with God, and growing from there.
Nah, for sure. So, during 3 days before the shutdown, during COVID, is when you transition, right? So during that time, did you feel like it was the right time, because we was going to a shutdown, and you know we ain't have nothing but time with just to sit in the house, and you know what I'm saying? Like, it was a transition for everybody because the world was shut down. So during that transition, is when you during that time is when you made your transition, right?
But I didn't know. I didn't know it was about to be shut down.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't? That's what I'm trying to. This is what I'm trying to add. Yeah, okay. Get to, right? Yeah. Because during that time, you didn't know, but it seemed like the manifest of it, right, which started at the right time, because there was a time when everything got shut down, when everybody really had to, right, you know, this is gonna show, you know, a lot about us. Right. You get what I'm saying? So it's like you going through that transition during that time. What was that like? Because the world was shut down.
That's the thing. It couldn't have been a better time. Like, I didn't know that was about to happen, right? Because it was, like I said, it was like 3 days before. And I went to Atlanta to tell my regional minister at that time, face to face. Well, I didn't go there with that intention. I went there on some business. That's what it was. I had to go to Atlanta on some business. But while I'm sitting there with him, because I was on a sabbatical, right? While I was trying to decide a couple of things. So I was on like a 90-day sabbatical. So I wasn't I wasn't teaching. I was just doing my thing, which at that time was I owned a restaurant. So I spent most of my time in there. So when the COVID thing started happening, I had no idea it was going to shut down. But when I went to Atlanta, we were sitting down, and just in the course of conversation, he asked me, He was like, all right, man. So what you thinking? And I knew it was coming. I was like, yeah, I already know. You got to make. I said, you got to do something. So I said, well, give me till I get home. On the ride home, let me pray about it, and I'll call you with a decision. He was like, all right. As we talking, he continued to talk, and I don't know what he was talking about. He was joking and everything. I could see him, but all I saw was his mouth moving. I see him laughing and stuff like that. And when I tuned back in, I said, man, I'm sorry. I ain't heard nothing you said. I said, but I don't need till I get home. I said, that's my ego talking. I can tell you right now, I'm gonna resign. And he was like, he looked at me for a minute. He said, well, I respect that. Thank you for, you know what I'm saying, for telling me. I respect it. And so that's what happened. That's how it happened. He called back to Birmingham and told them what it was. The only thing, I don't necessarily live with regrets, but the only thing that I would do differently. See, COVID came, and so once he made the announcement, literally all the mosques around the country shut down for 18 months. That's 2 years. So the people that I had been over all of that time never got to hear from me why. And this is nobody's fault. Ain't nobody stopped. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It was closed. Yeah. Couldn't do nothing.
Right.
And so by the time 2 years later when it opened back up, I ain't really thinking about like going back and explaining that. I ain't even explaining anyway. Yeah. But I would have. You know what I'm saying? Just because I know the position I had, and I know how a lot of people looked at me. So just out of respect for people and the people that I loved, that's still there, I would have rather, tell them myself. But however it happened is how it was meant to happen. Yeah. I have no control over COVID. I have no control over the mosque closing. Yeah. And I wish everybody the best. But at some point, you have to realize that you are the CEO of your life. At some point, you have to realize that you have to do what's best for you, not in no selfish way. But how can you take care of everybody else and you ain't took care of you? How can you continue to help everybody else with their trauma, childhood trauma and all that, and you never look at yours?
Facts. Yeah. Facts.
And that's one thing that a lot of so-called leaders get caught up in. It feeds our ego to help other people and to talk to other people and people listening to us and all that. But man, you got your own shit. You got your own shit to worry about.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, like, the deepest problems be with the so-called leaders. And they use that the position and the title to hide behind.
Yep.
Right? Yep. And like, I'm helping everybody else. I'm so important. But that's feeding your ego, and that's building up something that's missing. And what's missing is what, that trauma took away from you, or, that something that your dad said to you, or your mom said to you, or something they didn't say to you, or a friend in school, a teacher said to you.
So why you think that's the issue that like most leaders use as an excuse though? Because they feel like, they doing so much, they got all these responsibilities. Like, why you feel like they use that so much?
Yeah, it's not just leaders. It's people with all kind of positions. You got teachers, you got politicians, people. We as people, we use things, particular titles, positions, and stuff like that. We use that as a crutch and as a way to hide behind, because we don't want to do the real work of like working on ourselves.
Thanks.
And really, the real work is really just sitting down and looking at yourself. You just sit down and look at yourself, think about yourself, some of the things you've been through, some of the things maybe that you have done or things that were done to you, and you realize you got some work to do. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times we use work, or we use school, we use all these different distractions to keep us away from what the real thing is, and the real thing is in here.
Yep.
Nah, for sure.
Too hard to take self-accountability. Everybody want to be perfect, so it's easier to blame everybody else or find faults in everybody else but yourself. Mm-hmm. You're going to convince yourself that you did what you did because it was their fault, versus like, yeah, they did what they did, but I could have done this differently, or I shouldn't have reacted that way, or yeah, they was wrong and I didn't have to do that, or, so it don't be enough of self-accountability. But I did want to ask, It doesn't sound like it because it sounded like you was like headstrong, you was determined, you knew what your purpose was, you knew what your calling was. But I was going to ask, when you had to make that transition, you giving up one calling and one purpose for pretty much like the same calling but in a different way. So you already got these people that depend on you, that rely on you, that look up to you, look forward to hearing from you, and it's like letting down that congregation in a way to build another congregation. How did that impact your life, like dealing with that transition, or dealing with people feeling like you turning your back on them or you giving up on them and things like that?
It was rough. It wasn't rough from anybody outside of me. Ain't nobody say nothing to me. It was rough for me. It was rough internally. Mm-hmm. When you've been doing something, like I said, your entire adult life, because I didn't know what I was going to do.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was going to do. I just knew what I had to do.
Right.
I didn't know what I was about to do, but I knew what I had to do if I was going to be true to myself. So to answer your question, it was rough. It was a lot of soul searching. It was a lot of resting. Mm-hmm. I slept so much because I never slept during those years. I was always I get up early anyway, but I was literally I was always moving. It was always something going on. My phone would never stop ringing. I'd be so happy now don't nobody call me.
Man,
now, I'm saying to the people that call me, I ain't saying don't call me, but I'm saying the amount of calls that I used to get.
That breath of fresh air.
Oh my God. The amount of calls was too much, man. And it would take dinner table, out, movies, which it didn't matter. If you don't put some time frames and some boundaries, mm-hmm. Yeah, folks gonna call you all day. So that was one of the things that that was refreshing for me. You know what I'm saying? But overall, it was tough. It was a lot of soul searching.
So how did that affect with you being a family man? Them challenges like that. You said you out dinner, you with your kids, you with your wife. How did that affect them to be able to understand your position as a leader during that time? Mm-hmm. Because I know that could be very heavy. Right. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of questions that you don't want to answer, you know what I mean? Because, this is your position, right. But then it still has to be explained because it's still an explanation owed to them in a way. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
But see, the thing is, they were right there, though. So everything is better when you have understanding.
Thanks.
So
absolutely.
Being that they understood, they was right there seeing. A lot of times they was with me, especially my two older girls, Naima being one of them. We got I'll be thinking back sometimes man, we went so many places and they was ride or die. And and they still are, but I'm just saying it was more so the word I would use is understanding. I think that, they understood.
That was a lot, man.
It was a lot.
That was a lot.
I feel too, when you're the chosen one, God gonna always give you the proper foundation. Even if it's not solid, in reference to that's the foundation you're going to have throughout your full journey, he's going to make sure it's something that works for you throughout your journey. So I think that's why your family was more receptive of what you was going through, more supportive because of the type of wife he gave you at the time and the type of children he gave you at the time. And, again, he knew what he needed and wanted to build you up to be. So he set you up for success, even though it may have not been the way that we initially envisioned it. It was the way that he envisioned it on his timing. So,
right. For sure. Mm-hmm. So, let's just fast forward a little bit and tell people about what's going on now. What are you what you doing now? Because now you have transitioned and now you on another journey again. Mm-hmm. And just tell people about what you're doing now, part of your day-to-day life.
So spiritually, what I do now, I would say to not necessarily replace, but I would say in place of what I used to do. I do a lot of some people call it like life coaching, or some people I would do spiritual guidance. I have a lot of different like modalities that I use, or things that I have learned over the years to help people, like maybe take people back in time and deal with childhood trauma, or deal with events that happened to them in the past or whatever. So I do a lot of that, and do a lot of like life coaching, a lot of advising. Still do public speaking every now and then. Still do work in the community as well. Just not in the same way, you know what I'm saying, that I used to. In my old life, everything was kind of out front. It was kind of like, there he is. You know what I'm saying? Boy, I'm so tired of that. I ain't tired at all. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure you can see I got plenty of energy. You know? I could have kept. Sure. I could still be doing it right now, physically and mentally and all that. I could do it with my eyes closed for real. But I wouldn't be being true to myself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
And you say you being true to yourself, you feel like now is like the most important time of you being true to yourself, going along on this journey with everything you experienced over the years, and
it's more natural. Like the thing I was telling you I'm doing in a couple of weeks at the Moss Creek, the meditation, the hiking and meditation.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Now that's something that, black boy, listen, prior to a couple of years ago, I ain't trying to like be outside to like hiking. Like that sounded crazy to me. You know what I'm saying? Until I realized, damn, I'm kind of like a nature person.
Yes. Yeah.
I never knew till I was way grown.
She like that. She nature all the way.
So I ain't know until I was way grown, man. And so, being that I go out there and do that myself, because I was when I used to hear the word hike, I'm thinking, man, he got a backpack.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, boy, hiking,
climbing up a mountain.
Yes, it ain't mountains.
It ain't none of that.
Mountains.
Yeah, once I got the concept of it, I feel like, man, this something I might like. You know what I'm saying? But the hiking, I'm thinking about people that hitchhike. You know what I'm saying? In the mountains. Right. My concept was totally different of that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But now,
man, listen, it's so peaceful or whatever. And so the first one I'm doing is at Moss Creek. That's in Hoover. And that one, the terrain is kind of, it's only like one hill that you got to walk down. And then when you leave and you walk back up, ain't nothing. Yeah,
that's where like the waterfall.
That's where the waterfall is.
Yeah.
Probably when we get to it's going to be different stops along the way where we're going to do like quick little guided meditations.
Yeah.
Things that you can, I'm only into things that you can take with you that will benefit your life.
Absolutely.
That's all that's all it is. So we're doing, I call it music meditation and manifestation. Right. So when we get to the waterfall part, that's when we're going to do like this big guided meditation. But we're only going to be out there from like, it's scheduled from like 12 to 2. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, that's enough time.
What's the date?
Mm-hmm. It's the 20. It's 2 Sundays from. Oh man, what's it? Damn, hold up.
Okay.
I think it's like the 13th, the 12th, and 13th.
Yeah, the 13th. Thank you, bro.
13th.
Yeah,
okay.
Because I know, because I think Alabama got their
April 13th.
A-Day game that weekend, that Saturday.
Okay.
So, yeah.
April 13th from 12 to 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so if you're listening in the Birmingham, Hoover area, man, my boy, big event.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all will love it.
And then y'all that's listening that live somewhere else, we're going to take it on the road too. You know what I'm saying? So
that's what it's about.
Be on the lookout.
We
ain't just staying local. Ain't no such thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
got to spread the love.
But yeah, we definitely gonna be out there, and like I said, it's gonna be learning should be fun.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying. Yeah. So that's why I said music too, because like when I do meetings and stuff, like everybody that comes up to speak, you can't come up speaking unless you tell the DJ what song you coming up to. You got to jig up there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We ain't standing up there just and y'all listen to me. Nope. We finna have fun. You know what I'm saying? Learning should be fun.
I definitely look forward to it because I'm gonna be there for sure. You know, I ain't gonna lie. That'll be really my first time like attending an event like that where, you know, I'm
Lord,
learning.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, man, watch out.
We do, Lord. We thank you.
I'm growing. I'm growing. I'm growing.
That's why I had to thank you.
I'm growing.
From last year to right now today, Lord, we
growing.
thank you.
You know, thank you,
Hey,
Lord.
yeah.
Thank you.
That's all you gotta do.
Yeah. Nah, but man, you say you had a couple of businesses. Talk about that a little bit. Like, what kind of businesses you was into? I know you mentioned real estate, and you mentioned you had a restaurant.
Yeah. So I've been like cooking since I was young. I never took a class or nothing. I ain't never followed a recipe in my life because I'm probably too rebellious. That's why I don't bake, because when baking you got to follow the recipe. Otherwise, it ain't gonna turn out right. But cooking. Man, the ancestors guide me. I don't need no recipe. You know what I'm saying? I'm shaking this till they say stop.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I can see it.
So I always been big with that. So yeah, I opened 2 restaurants, Blue Seas Express. One was in you ever heard of Loveman Village? It's not there no more, but
Nah, you know what that is?
I ain't from here.
Yeah, I mean either. So I don't know.
Florida.
Okay. You from here? Yeah. So you know, okay, cool. All right. So my first restaurant was in Loveman Village.
Okay.
And that happened. I ain't gonna go through the story with how it happened, but it was in Loveman Village. We was able to provide service to an underserved area. We was able to give a couple of jobs over there, and we didn't like go over there feeding people the worst. We fed people like the best. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So from there we elevated to restaurant. It was over on Lime Avenue, actually where my man the Jamaican Thomas is over there now. But that's where Blue Seas was. That building was closed for like 20 years, and when I got the keys, like you couldn't even walk in there. So what you see in there now is pretty much what we did from everything, the TVs and all that, because that one we made it Blue Seas Sports Grill.
Oh, okay.
So again, COVID, because we had just gotten our footing, we was rolling, and COVID shut it down. We thought we were coming back, but we didn't know. Nobody knew what was gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? We didn't know how long we was gonna be shut in.
Yeah, it was unpredictable for sure.
So we changed it initially from, because at first they said people shouldn't come out. Then they said y'all can't come out. So we changed it to delivery only, and that was going real good. Then they just shut everything down. You know what I'm saying? So my man, I was getting leasing the building from. He was out of the country, back and forth. But we just didn't know what was gonna happen, so we just made an agreement. I just paid him the last month's rent, and we made an agreement to move on.
So how long did it last?
Which one? The restaurant?
Yeah.
I was doing that since like from 2015 to 2020.
So roughly 5
like
years.
2014 to 2020. Yeah.
Maybe 6.
Mm-hmm.
Was it like a seafood restaurant?
We served seafood, but no, it was we did a little bit of everything. We did turkey burgers, we did quesadillas, we did a little bit of everything.
You finna brag? Because it looked like you was about to brag.
No, I'm not finna brag. When he talk about the food, it made me think about something like, you know, with the Ramadan when y'all go through. Man, how y'all do that?
What, the fasting?
The fasting.
Yeah, well, it's so depending on what time of year it is. Because the calendar moves. It goes backwards, the Arabic calendar. Really, most calendars move, except we're on the Gregorian calendar. So everything just stay like it is. Some months you may have 30 days. Some months you got 31. Some you got 28. But really, the true cycle of like the moon is 28 days. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So that's why Ramadan changes. It goes back each year. So my point with that is saying that in the summertime, the sun is up longer. Because the fast is from sun up to sundown.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So those summer months when the sun going down at like 7:30, that's when you're like, because it's not just a solid food fast, it's liquid fast too. So but it's not 24 hours, it's just from sun up to sundown.
See, that's where I was confused at.
I about to say, I think a lot of Americans think that it's a fast 24 hours a day.
Well, you don't eat nothing all day.
No, it's literally sun up to sundown. Once the sun go down, they can eat. So it's just like a restriction throughout the day, training your body, like kind of thing. Like,
and then most people, like a lot of people that practice Ramadan are not Muslims at all. Yep. A lot of people just use it for a reset.
Yeah, hey, I ain't gonna lie. Like I try to be disciplined enough to do that, but that shit only lasts about 72 hours. Like after 3 days, I gotta eat something like breakfast. You know, what I'm saying?
That's all you need. Like 3 day or 72-hour fast that reset your whole immune system.
Because a lot of people say like it just don't work on your digestive system, but your mental,
work on everything.
You know what I'm saying? I try to challenge myself to do it longer. You know, because I hear so many successful stories after the fast, like the reset of their life, and you know how everything aligns so perfectly. You know what I'm saying, with where they want to go. You know, the goals and stuff. Everything kind of just like hits in the right areas after the fast. I always been curious about it. I just never did more than 3 days.
Right.
So in your 3 days, are you going 3 days without eating? Like
I don't eat nothing. I just drink water.
That's why you can't go past 3 days.
Yeah, I know. But see, that's what's the misunderstanding of it.
I know people that have fasted 30 and 40 days. Like I personally know them.
Yeah, like I be
no
hearing
food,
like,
no food, just liquid.
Now that
I don't know.
Maybe I can do that. I ain't
listen, no 3 days too long.
But it's really not. Those long protracted fasts are really not. If that's what you want to do, that's on you. But it's not necessary. But a 3 day fast is really the longest that you. That's all it takes to reset your system. I'll put it like that.
3 days. See,
I can do that.
I can deal with that.
And eat after dark. Yeah.
And then start small. You know what I'm saying? Start with a day, and just build up.
I've been working on it, man. I've been working on it.
Or actually, before you even started, y'all heard of intermittent fasting?
Nah, you kind of explain that.
So that's basically, if you eat at let's just say if you ate at 6 o'clock this evening.
Yeah.
If you're doing, just say you're gonna sleep 8 hours on average, so that's 8 hours without food. Then if you go to like 12 after you wake up, how do I want to put this? Like they have a 16-8 schedule. They have a 12-12 schedule, meaning basically for the 16 hours you can eat. You know what I'm saying? Let me just say this, for the 8 hours you can eat. For the 16 hours you don't. Because eight of those 16 you're going to be asleep.
Okay.
The other 8, you probably busy, you getting up doing your thing or whatever, but then you eat. You know what I'm saying? And you can eat during those hours. Don't overdo it, but you can eat during those hours that you can eat, but at 6 you stop. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever your time is, maybe 7, maybe 8.
Yeah. Me, it'll probably be like 7.
But it resets your body too, clears up your skin, like any like ailments that you have internally or whatever, it starts to work on it. So, because really, like the more we eat, the more it affects our immune system. That's why you see when you get sick, you don't have an appetite. But people tell us like, oh no, you gotta eat. You gotta no, that ain't what it is. If the body, listen to your body. If you ain't got no appetite, that means the body's trying to rest.
Yeah.
That's why like when animals get sick, they don't eat because your immune system is trying to reset itself. But the thing that affects us the most, see, we don't realize how long it takes to digest one meal. You know what I'm saying? You eat one meal.
A burger with 3 days to digest?
No, beef take about a week.
A week?
Yeah, for any beef.
That's for most of it. Some of it will stay in because they do autopsies on people and find beef from 30 years ago.
Oh shit!
Because your intestines got all kind of folds and stuff in it, so stuff get stuck in there. You know what I'm saying? So that's why those like resets and fasts and stuff is necessary.
So do you still eat pork? Do you eat pork? I know.
No. As part of Muslim, he been stuck. He was
I know.
Oh, sorry.
But let me say this though, I don't believe in restricting. Let me put it to you like this: I don't restrict myself from anything, but I do make wise decisions on what I do.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So if you ask me, can you do this and can that? I can do whatever I want to do.
Yeah.
But I will I make decisions based on what's best for me. You know what I'm saying? Like my object is not like super long life no more. It's great if it happened, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I'm not like, I want to be 120 years old. I ain't saying that. I'm here for however long I'm here. But the time that I am here, I don't want a bunch of health problems and all of that. So I'm, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna try to live the best that I can while I'm here. But I ain't really like, man, I can't do this and can't do that because I'm scared. I might.
Yeah. So you don't eat meat at all?
No, I do.
Okay. I mean, I only know a few Muslims. Some do eat like a little meat, but it's not really much. Some don't eat meat at all. You know, like I know.
But you know, as the world gets more health conscious, you got Christians that do the same thing. Some like, stop eating meat. You got
A lot
like
of people going vegan.
spiritualists.
Yeah, like my uncle, he don't eat red meat.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
That's how a lot of people start off because you know the red meat. Like we were just talking about it, like the burgers and all that. So a lot of people like I got one daughter that's a pescatarian. She only eats like fish. You know what I'm saying? And when I say only eat, I mean as far as meat. That's the only meat.
Yeah.
But then you got some people that call themselves vegetarians, but they're really carbitarians.
Well, explain that.
I knew one dude. He was a vegetarian for years, but all he ate was fries. Thinking he was doing good, you know what I'm saying? But you missing out on all this nutrition because you think in your mind, well, I'm gonna stay away from the meat because it's bad for me. But you staying away from everything else, and you so busy that all you do is just go and get some you know what I'm saying, some carbs, some chips, or you know something unhealthy. That's why a lot of people that claim to say I'm vegan or something like that, and they ain't no beef, literally no beef. But I'm saying like. Sometimes they don't look as healthy. Sometimes
for real though,
hair may be falling out and stuff like that. Because
I seen some fat vegans.
Missing.
I mean, not fat, but like
I have too.
Vegans.
Yeah, but I'm saying like you're missing.
No disrespect. No disrespect.
Get a little rough.
Yeah, like, but for real though, I have seen like, damn, you don't eat, bro. You pretty big now. You know?
You must have just started.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, so
and no way that's just salad.
Right, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, salad don't put weight on you. It take away weight.
Wow.
But nah, you know, with the fish, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know people that just eat fish as meat, and they eat like vegetables and a little carb, not too much starch.
I was that at one time. I've been through it. I've never been a full vegan. I don't believe in veganism. For me, I don't believe in veganism as a full life. I do believe in it for like resets and stuff like that. Like I've done things like gone a couple of weeks vegan or something like that, just to kind of reset, give my system a rest. But yeah, I have been a full-time vegetarian for like 4 years. I've been a pescatarian before, and I ate everything before. You know what I'm saying? So it's really just depending on you, your lifestyle, you know, whatever your belief system is. And when I say belief system, when I used to say belief system, I used to think religion. But your belief system is not that. Your belief system is what you believe about you.
Facts.
Nah, for real.
Facts.
That's because you can be. Some people say, "Well, I'm a Muslim and I don't do this and I don't do that." Some people, I'm a Christian and I don't do this and I don't do that. But they in shambles emotionally. You may not drink, but you damn sure cuss your children out, cuss your friend out. You may not, you may not smoke, but you're a thief. You know what I'm saying? Or you get negative to people all the time. Like everybody got something.
Right.
Sure.
So, but when we again, use these shields and titles like I'm this and I'm that, then we hide behind it, which stops us from doing the real work. So you find people that use that and they point at everybody. See, you do this and then you do that. See, that's why the devil gonna get you. That's why this, that's why that.
Yeah.
And they never take time to look at themselves. And those type of people live an unfulfilled life and end up leaving here without doing anything.
Man, it's crazy because like there's a lot of people like that. Like a lot of people.
Literally, most people.
Yep.
Most. But man, we appreciate you for coming through.
I appreciate y'all.
You know what I'm saying? Know you're a busy man. You know, we had to get something set up, and we actually succeeded at that. Like quickly. You know what I'm saying? Like it was more quickly than I thought. And
so you think you executed something?
Oh, for sure.
I guess.
For sure. We executed.
I was just saying.
Nah though, man. It was good having here, man. I learned a lot personally, you know what I'm saying? And just the things I thought I knew. about some things, it made more sense tonight. You feel me? In a way where now I can receive it better. You know what I mean? And sometimes we be in denial with ourselves about a lot of stuff, especially when it comes to accountability. You know what I mean? I always take accountability for my actions, but I don't always like to acknowledge it as if I should do this or that was wrong. You know what I mean? And I just learned now, just moving forward, of who I am and what works for me and what's for me. Even though we all had that concept of that.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna do what's for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we don't always take action amongst that. So yeah, that was something big that I learned tonight just from our conversation and just moving forward in life. But again, man, we appreciate you and let the people know about the event that you got coming up.
Definitely. Matter of fact, to save some
13th.
time. Yeah, April 13th.
April 13th.
Definitely.
12
That's
to 2.
the
12 to
meditation,
2.
hiking and meditation, music manifestation, and music manifestation and meditation. But I have a text number if people want to connect, if they want to know about that event or if they want to know about other services. They can text me at text only, please. Please. You know
Make sure you say that. They'll be calling.
659-278-7937. 659-278-7937.
Again, man, we appreciate you for coming through, stopping, having this good conversation, man, and just chilling with the good folks tonight, man.
I appreciate it. I enjoy myself.
I know, for sure. I definitely enjoy myself. And I learned something. I can't eat when I fast. I can't eat. You know,
and you're on the road to your spiritual journey.
Yes. Look at God. Look at God.
Yeah. One year at a time. We getting there.
Look, Auntie, stay on me, boy. She stay on me, boy. She ain't gonna let me skip a day. But nah,
that's
man.
good, man. I enjoy myself. I appreciate it. Appreciate y'all time. I learned from y'all too. I appreciate the whole vibe. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Told you before, y'all got a real professional look. Like the whole place. I love it. Hopefully y'all let me come back one day.
Oh yeah, for
most
sure.
Definitely,
for
most
sure.
definitely.
For
I'm
sure.
always down for it.
Definitely got
Shout out to the engineer too. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. Shout out to the content factory,
You know what I'm
man. But we're gonna do it one time for the one time, man. One vibe together, one tribe together we vibe.
Good energy, great conversation.
Great cakes.
Great.
See, shout out to the engineer.
The honey buns catching up with us.
We vibe, good energy, good cakes, good.
The way he ate me up. Now when he messed up,
Paul.
I had to let me both of y'all.
Yeah. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? I messed up too.
That's a good blooper.
Yeah.